this is Tim calling, coming at you again from Senior Leads Boost with another Tips Tuesday video. This week, and also next week, we're going to be covering parts of a talk that I gave recently at an annual summit meeting for the franchisees of A Better Solution in Home Care, an excellent franchise organization for home care businesses. So, here goes. So this week I'll be talking about local SEO, and next week I'll cover the reviews management topic from the talk that I gave at the summit meeting. But this week we'll start with local SEO. I'll also just mention quickly my background. A lot of people know me as a marketing guy, but actually I've got a crazy background. I owned a home care agency, and I was certified as a geriatric care manager for 12 years in Southern California before I sold the agency at the end of 2015. Before that, I was actually a software engineering manager, product R&D manager for almost 20 years. Before that, I was a chief financial officer for a small specialty chemical manufacturer in Southern California. Before that, I was a CPA, working in public accounting, doing tax work and audit work. And now I still am licensed, but my license is in retired status. My wife says that makes me a recovering accountant. I don't know. One other kind of fun fact is that in California we have a licensing law for home care agencies that took effect in 2016. Back in 2010, I actually wrote the original version of that and then brought it to the San Diego Home Care Council, which eventually brought that forward as a potential piece of legislation. And pretty much in the act that finally passed and became effective in 2016, the version that I wrote was what they passed as far as regulation of home care companies. Unfortunately, they also, in our wonderful California state government, which is decidedly anti-employer and pro-union, they added in a bunch of provisions which basically help the unions to try to unionize all of the home care workers in the state. So I did not add that. Anyway, here goes. So what is local SEO? And in particular, really, what does it, what are the goals of local SEO? So first I'm going to show you what I mean by local SEO. So first of all, I'm going to show you a Google search results page. I ran a query for home care near me. Right now I happen to be in Carlsbad, California. And so this is a classic example of a Google search results page. First of all, it has a bunch of paid ads. Now Google is sort of dishonestly calling them sponsored, but they're really ads that they've been paid for. And they always will be first, because that's how Google makes 80 or 90% of its revenue. Then the next section is called Places. Actually, most of us call it the local results. So we'll come back to that in a moment. And then the last section is what are often called the organic results. All of these blue links, which are almost always going to be directory sites that you have little or no chance of really benefiting from. But here in the middle, the local search results, this is going to be your best chance to show up on page 1 of Google search results. And so we're going to drill into this a little bit more, but let me also just describe that if you think about it, these 3 companies that happen to appear as a result of the search are the 3 favored companies that number 1 are found, and number 2, at least one of them stands out or is likely to be chosen. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, a searcher who didn't know anything about these companies might look at this list and choose, well, let's see, which one looks like it's the most, I don't know, trustworthy. Well, this one's got 32 reviews and a really good average review score. This one has no reviews, and this one only has 15. The typical searcher, the typical consumer, probably will choose this company to talk to first, just because they look like the best. So in other words, they will be chosen. Notice also that although websites can be launched from here or viewed, Google has sort of subdued the example or the links to them, because they don't want people to leave this page. Because if people leave this page, then they might not click on one of those lovely links that makes Google all their money up above. All right, so the goals of local SEO then are to, number one, make your business be found in local search, and number two, to make your business be chosen from the local search results. Now, there are two kinds of searches that you could be considering here. The search that I just showed you is a non-brand search. That's where you're searching for what the company does or sells instead of who they are. If somebody searched for you by your name, that's called a brand search, sometimes called a direct search, and they probably would find the company if they did that. However, the real point is, if somebody is just starting their search for senior care of some kind, home care, assisted living, whatever, they won't know the name of the company they're looking for most of the time, but they know what kind of service they're looking for. And so that's why the non-brand search, the non-direct search, is probably the most important one for us to be talking about. We just showed you an example of how in Google search results there are three sections, and section 2, the local search results, all labeled as places, that's the sweet spot. That's your best chance for being found in search results. There will always be three companies in there. Sometimes there may be a fourth one if that company is paid for an ad, like they did in this example shown here. So how do you get into that local pack? Well, your website doesn't matter. It's not going to get you into the local pack. It's important because if somebody does somehow manage to get to your website, then you want to make sure that your website looks good, it's persuasive, it's professional, it makes them call you. But as far as showing up in local search results, it has little or no importance. What does make a difference is something called a Google Business Profile. Now, so how do you make that your Google Business Profile be one that wins for you? Well, for ranking, you want to make sure that you do everything you can to optimize it. So utilize all of the features that are available in the Google Business Profile. Include keywords everywhere, especially in the name field. And also get lots and lots of reviews. That's very important initially, and also on an ongoing basis. Your reviews will matter in terms of the quantity and also in terms of the recency. Also, you can create new posts that are kind of like blog posts, but they appear in your Google Business Profile instead of a website. And it's important to do those frequently. And then be very sure that you monitor your Google Business Profile really for two things. One is, how is it ranking? And hopefully over time, if you're doing the things correctly, or if you have an agency like ours doing them for you, you'll be increasing over time in ranking. And also, you need to be monitoring for changes that are made by others, by Google or by third parties. So why would you have to do that? Well, it's because people can make changes to your Google Business Profile without you being told about it and giving your permission. Now, that shouldn't happen, right? I mean, it should be that they can't do that, but it turns out that they can. First of all, Google can change your listing whenever they want to because they own it. You may think you own it, but no, it's Google's. And sometimes they will make changes if they think the name is wrong, or if they think the address is wrong, or things like that. And also, anyone else that has a Google account, which really means they have a Gmail account, they can make changes by making something called a suggested edit. And they can also submit questions and answers too, but the most important is that they can suggest an edit or a change. And if they are being malicious, they can do that with harmful intent. So for instance, they can change the business name to WeKillYourMom.com, or they can change your category from senior care to drywall, or something like that. Or they can change the phone number to be somebody else's phone number, including theirs, instead of yours. So it's important to monitor your listing frequently. Google is supposed to tell you when somebody makes a change. However, they're not very reliable at that, in my experience. If you work with us, you can count on us checking it every day. We have software that does that, not Google's, but other software. And we will always be notified within 24 hours if somebody tries to make a change. So what are the things that will matter in terms of ranking? Well, reviews, I've already mentioned. Quantity, once you get over about 20, it won't really matter so much as far as quantity goes, but then the recency, that is how new are those reviews. So that's why you want to keep getting new reviews all the time. And the score, of course, matters. You want to get as close as you can to a 5 out of 5. And then other factors we've talked about: completeness of your profile, and also if you upload posts, that'll matter, and photos and videos. That may not really affect your ranking a lot or at all, but it will make it more compelling for people that visit your Google Business profile. One thing that you cannot control is that one of the ranking factors that Google will use is the proximity or the closeness between your location, your business office location, and the searcher's location. Now, that's foolish, but that's one of the things that Google does. It's not foolish if you're looking as a consumer for something that would matter as far as how close it is, like a pizza place or a gas station or a car mechanic. But when it comes to something where quality is far more important than the proximity, like care for your elderly loved ones, they shouldn't do that, but they do, and they don't care. Google is very much like that. They just simply don't care that it's harmful. So that's what we have to say this week about local SEO. There's a ton more of detail that you can go into in this. That there are many, many, many things that matter. But from a quick overview perspective, these are the things that are important, and these are the things that we presented to the franchise annual summit meeting for a better solution in home care last Saturday. I hope this is helpful. We'd love to help you, of course. Senior Leads Boost is one of the premier local SEO and marketing automation companies for senior care providers, and we will help you to get more calls for new service. That's our promise. Thank you. Have a great day.